don't have a partner, you tend to not care about your health as much, I feel like, as when you get together, then you look out for each other. I know some people kind of like let their health go in the sense of like maybe they were more fit before they got together with someone and then they kind of like started eating junk food and got fat or whatever. But what I'm saying is like you at least look out for each other. You know what I mean? Like I know when I was doing my eating disorders bad, like Richard would be the one to be like, gone too far. Like this where I would have probably died. Um and because I didn't even see it. Now when I look at, oh my gosh, like when I look at my old photos, it's like, oh geez, I can't believe you had to deal with that. And I was like not wanting to put on weight at times when I was like way too skinny, and it's terrible. And so, you kind of pull each other out of, the hard times. And definitely with me with drinking, I don't really feel a desire to drink when I'm with my family, but when I'm all alone, so it's not necessarily my job. People can think it's my job in New York. It's a little bit my job in the sense that I do get paid to drink often when I'm there, but it's more the thing of being alone in a city that kind of like really encourages that. So maybe if I was, in the middle of nowhere, there isn't like, bars and restaurants and food and drinks on every corner, maybe it wouldn't be as much of a temptation. But I still think I would struggle being on my own in any city, but especially when you put me like in New York City. You know what I mean? I don't, if you guys have never been there, there's the whole vibe when you get there. I mean, it's just, I know like it literally as soon as I get off the plane, I'm already like, oh gosh, I feel like drinking. Like it's like different than here. Like I'd be like so solid when I leave Vegas. Oh, I'm not gonna drink. And I get off the plane in New York and I'm like, oh dear, this is gonna be tough. It's just different. It's just very different. Like it's like immediately I'm like, oh dear, this really is gonna be much more of a challenge than I realized. But now I'm kind of prepared for that. So I'm learning each time. But yeah, I at times thought it would be easier because I had felt so solid here. Because like I will feel pretty solid when I leave here at 3 weeks. You feel like, oh good, at 3 weeks of no drinking. Um, but seriously, stepping off that plane in New York, you go, "Ooh, it's a battlefield out here." So, but I don't hate that. I mean, yeah, it'd be better if I stayed sober always, but I'm not hating the experience, if that makes sense too. It's kind of like it's an experience. And like I said, oh my God, that's Jeremiah. Yeah. Hey Jeremiah. Hey Jeremiah. He gets excited. That's our hummingbird. He's the one that kind of guards our feeders. So there's.
Hey, Joy, we're in the store now.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
Can they
we're
see
in
you?
the store. Yeah, they
Can
can
they
see
see you
us.
guys? Oh,
Yep,
good.
yep.
There's Richard and Annette. They're shopping, doing the grocery shopping today, which is it actually isn't so helpful. At times I'm like, I want to get out, thinking I want to like go to the store just to kind of like get out of the house. But then I'm like, why go to the store? It's one thing I always get irritated with everybody in the store. I'm just always like trying to, avoid people, and someone always irritates me because me. And then I always see like there's this like at the one store there's this one kind of creepy dude that always kind of hits on me, which he's always there. It feels like it's every time I go, and then I also get irritated because people kind of like oh you're back again because I'm going like every day. It's just like it just like looks weird with the amount of stuff I'm buying. So there's all these things, and then I'm also challenged with going and buying all this food when I'm trying not to eat it or trying not to drink. So I was like, I should just let you guys shop. I mean, there's so many things that fixes for me. And it really has helped. And one day I did go, and that day was the day. Later in the day, I ended up eating some junk food because there's something about when you have to go and you have to shop and you're picking things out and you think, oh, this isn't affecting me. But in the day, you're like still thinking about that, thing you saw in the store, or the thing you bought for Gloria and Annette or something. They are, oh, geez, a little pastry or something. Whereas if I'm not there picking it out, paying for it, looking at it, putting it away, they don't think about it all day. You know what I mean? So it is very helpful. And but it is hard because I have this tendency to want to, part of my thing of a little bit of staying active and stuff was doing things like going to the store and stuff and getting out and going and doing a bunch of chores in the morning. But now I'm me and Richard are doing the chores together. And not that he doesn't trust me, it's just more like, why put yourself in the temptation of like, because in the past, I did struggle when I got back from New York. I went and got alcohol a couple times when I went to the store, or when I went to go do an errand, I stopped at like a gas station and got alcohol. So even though I don't see myself doing that now, it is kind of nice because it's like, yeah, why even put myself in that situation? So that makes sense. So it's like I'm just not going and doing these things, but that is a little bit of a challenge for me because now I'm like a little bit having to be like, not that I don't have anything to do, I have plenty to do, but sometimes like getting out of the house and kind of being a little more active. Now I'm kind of like laying around a little more. But I think like these things are good because that was kind of just trying to like busy myself. And I don't know. And I had like this real like speedy energy because that's like how my mom was. She wasn't on speed, but she was taking antihistamines that had the ephedra, which they ended up taking out, which was kind of like speed or basically speed. They took it out, and people were getting pretty wired on this. So as a kid, she was always like sipping on, and then she would do tons of caffeine. So I have like this natural energy that's how I was raised, and she's also from New York, so she talked really fast, moved very fast, and I'm kind of just trying to kind of calm down. But by doing that, I do find I'm getting more like lazier in a sense, and a little bit more like it's harder for me to, take the weight off that I put on in New York, kind of thing. And now, I mean, I'm happy with my body. I don't think, but I did put on like 10 pounds from drinking there, and so I want to make sure that I don't put on another 10 pounds when I go to New York. So I'm trying to kind of even that out, because I really that's the way I can actually put on weight is alcohol. Alcohol just packs all the way for me. Like most things I don't put on weight that easy, but alcohol. So I do have to watch that because like I know I'm thin now, but if I keep drinking, I won't be at the rate where you keep putting on, 10 pounds every trip or something. So I'm being conscientious of that, and trying to be healthy when I'm home, be active because you're active in New York. That's not the problem. It's just the alcohol really. Uh, I don't know, messes with everything. So I normally do the keto, try to do the protein, but once you do alcohol, all bets are off. Like you're kicked out of ketosis. You no point in like the protein's almost out the window. I mean, not you still do the protein, but it's like you're now having sugar. Like the whole point of protein was to do low sugar, but when I'm doing like these sugary hard ciders or something, or even the beers, they just have so much like yeast, whatever they got. Um, it's not good for your stomach. So I'm really trying to, if I'm gonna go do a trip like this, at least like be the best I can be before I endeavor. And I'm really fingers crossed. I hope I can like not immediately like be unhealthy. It's really frustrating for me. I'm really frustrated with myself. I don't know if others deal with this. Where you're like you can so easily just not do it, but then you do it anyways. And at home it's just so easy for me. Like I've really not struggled with I struggle with the withdrawals, but I mean as far as like my mindset, because it's more your mindset. That's what people don't get. Like that's where like my mindset in New York is wrong because I haven't set that mindset of like that I want to be sober yet. There. It's like still like feel like drinking there. We're here. I want to be sober, and so I'm frustrated that I don't have that mindset there yet. And I'm hoping it moves because there was a time that I did want to drink in Vegas. That's the thing. I mean, even recently, and now I've changed from that because I'm actually sobriety is more important to me than being like a drunk. But this thing of these trips to New York are this like weird little thing I've been allowing of like I don't know, and it's kind of I don't know. I don't know. It's just this phase I'm going through, I think. And I don't want to go through it forever. I mean, for one thing, I'd be so unhealthy and I'd look terrible. So I really can't. I kind of feel like if I do drink this trip, it might be my last trip drinking because when I look at my photos and stuff, it's just kind of like this, kind of like downward spiral of like I was looking better and now like I can see each day that I drank like on my trip I could see like because I only took a handful of photos this trip and I could see like each day I looked worse. You know what I mean? Like even like when I first left Vegas I looked good enough, I was looking okay. I wasn't looking great even then because I drank not that What was it, 3 weeks prior to that? But when I left Vegas, I had like a certain look, and then literally as soon as I knew that I had drank, like when I saw my next photos, I was like, wow, it was so drastic. Just in my whole demeanor, everything, like the way I even was smiling, like everything changed in a less positive way. Like the first photos looked a lot better when I was sober. So it's just like little things like that start to irk me. And I'm very into, I like taking photos. It's kind of my thing. It's become my thing ever since I started getting healthy. I started taking like daily photos because prior to that, you don't have to take photos if you're not feeling good about your body or your looks. But if you start like getting healthy, every day you would like are like, wow, I feel like I look better than the day before. So you start taking, so like when we first started getting healthy back in like 2016 or something, um, we didn't look good, but we thought we did because we were feeling so much better than we had looked. You know what I mean? And so it was like each day we were just taking these photos as if we were just like, the best looking people on the planet. And we were just laugh now because at the time we really, really felt great about ourselves, which is really good to have that positivity and that, but when we look back, we didn't look that good. That's why it's funny, but we were getting to where we wanted to be, you know what I mean? And then we got to where we wanted to be, and then we kind of took it too far. We got too thin. It wasn't really intentional. It was we got too thin by being in Panama, by swimming every day. Because I said on this diet, you can't be that active, otherwise you're just gonna get way too thin. So we were doing this protein diet and swimming every day, which just keeps so skinny. And then when we went to New York, we were just so active in New York. We weren't swimming. We were just you walk everywhere. So we were doing this diet for the first 6 months and just being so active. So when I look at our photos, when we still thought we were healthy, we were just watching a video that was like, man, we were really skinny. We did not look as healthy as we thought we were. You know what I mean? So it was bound to kind of fail on some level in the sense of you can't do all protein and be active, like fully active. So you're gonna be active. You do have to have some carbs, like because it's just you're just gonna get too skinny. Because you're burning your fat for energy. But it is a great thing to do for a certain amount of time, like so that you can really get yourself lean down. Because you're burning your fat for energy and you're just so every day you're leaning. But there comes a point if you get too lean, especially with me, I get there sometimes. And now I'm like, I don't want to do that again. So if anything, I'm a little bit like happy that at least this New York thing is by drinking, it made me gain weight, which made me kind of get over my craziness of being too skinny. You know what I mean? Whereas in any other thing, I don't think I would have let it happen. I'm like, oh no, I have to eat that or something. And I mean, I could resist the food, but the alcohol, I struggle with more. So it kind of helped me put on some weight, which is good because I was still too thin just recently. And I've been putting on weight every trip to New York, which, I try to lean it down a little bit in between, but not much because I don't want to be that thin. Which is more like not lean is probably the wrong word, and more like fit, get toned, is the word I'm looking for. Toned in between. Because otherwise, I kind of become a little bit more of a blob. Even though I'm small, you're just like, no toning. Because I like having a little bit of, not like a six pack, but we got like some toning in your stomach. And I had that for a long time. And then that's what kind of went away with the alcohol. And that's what drives me nuts. So I'm trying to get a little bit of toning back before I go back to New York. Otherwise, irritating with photos. So I was like, it's a conflict. That's my biggest conflict is dealing with. But then I'm like, I'm still happy I'm going to New York, even though I've had to deal with like kind of like sending my body through a little bit of a whirlwind. Because the alternative was just like be here, just be like insanely healthy for the rest of my life, and just like I don't know, just like have a six pack laying here tanning and for what reason, you know what I mean? Like, but okay, great. I didn't see anybody really except for work. So it was just kind of like at least now, even though I'm not maybe looking the best I've ever looked, not looking the worst. So I mean, in the middle somewhere. I'm older now. And I love when people are like, oh, you guys look so much better. I'm like, that was like 10, 15 years ago almost. Some of the photos you guys, I mean, we were shipping together for 13 years. So it's like some of them are 13-year-old photos. Oh, you guys look so much better and healthier. Well, you're 13 years younger. Like, some of them, like even some like 10 years old. This is funny. yeah, sometimes we forget how old we've gotten together because you do forget, like, you think you're still the age you were when you got together. This is kind of the beauty of being with someone for a long time is that's why sometimes you act a little childish because you forget that you're getting older. Whereas if you are still single, I think you're a lot more aware. Like, oh man, my clock is ticking. You know what I mean? But when you've been with someone for like a really long time, then you kind of just remember that age. No, no.
Hey there. I'm just here at the grocery store. We're about to check out.
Oh yay!
Yeah.
I love some big burgers. Cool. Did you get the 90/10 this time?
We'll be back in a second.
I still got some of that 85/15. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it was on sale though, so it was good that you got it on sale. But I don't think Richard said he didn't mean to, Annette grabbed it because Annette is such a good little shopper, but it's really hard to get her out of a routine. And sometimes she'll go back to a different routine than that because we change it. Like, for a while we were buying the 3-pack of the 85 and the 3 of the 90/10. So she did that, but we haven't done that in like months. And so she did that yesterday, but it worked out because they actually had the 3-pack for like $20. Great. 3-pack, 3 pounds of 85/15 pack, $20 at Smith's. That's not bad. That's not bad for organic. You get it grass fed. But and I grabbed that one and then the 3 of the 90/10. But then Richard ate one of the 90/10s. I ate the 85/15. It was too early for me. I don't know. I don't like it. But no, they don't. So I am feeling much better about like I'm not craving sugar or anything like that. But I think part of like I'm a little bit worried that part of the issue why I'm like doing so well is because like I know I'm going to New York and I'm like I don't know if that's a good thing to be like, oh, I can handle this because I'm about to go, get drunk in New York or something. And I'm like, oh, I hope that's not like what's going on here, but it feels like it is, and it does feel like it's like, because as soon as I found out I was going to New York, I felt like everything got easier. Like, oh, this alcohol thing I got in the bag. But then I'm like, maybe that's because I'm could literally drink in 2 weeks. So I don't know. But it is what it is. But I do feel very strong right now. I'm hoping I can be strong in New York. But I just don't know what's going to happen in New York. The problem is I'm there by myself. If I was there with Rich, I could be strong. I mean, that's literally, it comes down to that. Even if I was working there, if I was there with Rich, I could be strong. Because he was the one that floated to New York first. I was very strong when I was with him. I can be strong with Rich because I don't know. I don't like to like when you have like, for one thing, like if I cave in, he'll usually cave in. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like try to be a little more that like, like it's one of those things like if you cave in, you're gonna make the other. But when I'm in New York, like no one is affected. Does that make sense? So it's harder there because it's like they're all here. They don't really care as long as I'm safe. I mean, Richard would prefer probably I don't drink, but he knows I'm probably gonna do it if I want to. Or I am gonna do it if I want to. I'm